are again in Triple R Studios, Ray's record room, and the great man is to my right once again.
How's that?
I love this room. It's my favourite room. I know the bathroom is.
Down the far end, we've got Mike, Big Roy Whitney. How are you, Widow?
Dawsey, lovely to be here. Shugsy, how you going?
How's that?
And I'm Andrew Dorsey Dawson. As I always do, I throw it down to Widow for the intro for our special guest today. And off you go.
I've got the first question to ask you, Dawsey and Shugs. Is this the first lady we've had on the podcast?
Second.
Live, yeah. Here in
we had. That's right. We had Jenny Thompson.
Yeah.
Who was
the swimmer.
No, not the swimmer. Right? Who's taking cricket gear all around the world and distributing it, basically in third world countries. But that was not live.
James Thompson's.
It's not got nothing to do with James Thompson. Okay, we've got a trailblazer, a torchbearer, someone who's highly respected in their sport. Wanted to play when she was a girl, but they wouldn't let her. We want to hear all about that. Had two brothers who played in the NRL and sadly lost one with motor neurone disease. That's very tragic. Has a competition named after her now. Captained her team, her state and her country. Would you please welcome Tarsha Gale!
Welcome.
Gentlemen, absolute pleasure to be here.
Tarsha, is that all correct, what I said?
It actually is.
Yeah,
You've
good.
done your research. Yeah, right.
I've got about 30 pages. 2 on you, but the rest of it is relevant.
Grew up in the inner west.
Yeah, Strathfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like growing up in Strathfield? That was like western suburbs in the old days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's inner west now.
Yeah, that's right. Dad's always been a mad Western Suburbs supporter. Mum, a Roosters. So I think it's coming up this weekend, actually, their grudge match. But, yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so they always get dressed up and argue and scream at the TV. So I'm looking forward to that.
And that's why your brothers played for Western Suburbs, is that right? Were they juniors? They would have been the juniors coming through the grades?
Yeah,
right?
exactly right. Brett and Scott both played for what were the Western Suburbs Magpies.
Sure.
Dad was actually a sprint coach for...
Your mum and dad were both good athletes, weren't they?
They were.
Yeah.
They were both world-rated athletes.
Yeah, so you had no chance. You and your two brothers, you were going to play sport anyway at some sport.
Yeah.
What were they?
Definitely.
What did they do, your mum and dad?
They were both athletes. Dad, he got a medal in the Com Games. He was a sprinter. They said he would probably better suited to 800 metres, but he was a lazy trainer, so he preferred the 1-2. Mum was a pentathlete, actually, so she could run and jump. Oh, yeah, mate, you're in trouble as a kid. You just don't run because they will catch you. So we used to climb because they both had vertigo.
But that's a number of sports that your mum... How many's in the pen? What's pen? 8 or 7 or something?
It's between
Is it
1
5?
and 10.
The decathlete's 10, isn't it? I know that. But 5. So she had to be good at 5 individual athletic sports to be a pentathlete.
Amazing athlete, Mum. And she was a good trainer. So.
Is it what? Fencing isn't in that? Is fencing
No. Hurdles.
Hurdles, yeah.
Long jump, high jump, discus, and I think a sprint event as well.
Okay.
That's a lot of training to do for all those events. Yeah.
So you've got to work out which one you're really good at because you think, I'm not that good at the discus, but I can make points up in this because that's my stronger event. So there's a lot of shuffling around in those. Wow.
Yeah, so many disciplines.
Were they training together, your mum and dad, at any stage when they were engaged or going out or married?
They met as athletes.
There you go.
That's how they got together. But they fell in love very, very quickly, and Mum got down to the business of having my big brother Brett very early. So I think Mum tells the story. They met at 20, engaged at 21. Brett at 22, Scott at 23, me at 25.
Geez, they're sprinters, eh?
Oh, mate, yeah.
Yeah, they were into it, yeah.
Sorry.
Out of the gates real quick there.
Out of the gates, out of the blocks, that's it.
And your name is, you were saying before, named after a Russian long jumper.
Yeah, Mum was competing and there was a Russian long jumper. Her name was Tarsha. It's actually Tarja if you speak to my mum. And it's Tatia, and Dad just Australianised it to
Okay.
Tarsha, but she had beautiful long dark hair and blue eyes, and Dad with dark hair and blue eyes. So Mum thought that's how I was going to be, but not to be.
No, but
Total
that's
opposite,
how it is.
actually.
For me, my son, I called my son after my pet turtle, Todd. You know, so I can
that's
see
nice,
how,
sugar,
you know,
nice.
we
There's
like
a
something.
resemblance there with Todd Eye and that pet turtle.
Yeah, no, he's a bit slow.
Long
Maybe
neck, is
that's
it? Todd have
Yeah,
a long
Todd.
neck or not?
Yeah, long something else, but yeah.
Yeah. I'll take your word for it.
Thank you.
You don't have to have a long neck to be a goose, is that what you or a turtle?
You got it. That's really good with that.
So you were destined to be a sports person, really, like with that pedigree in the family. And so, yeah, what were your first recollections of playing sport of any kind?
Mum and Dad, because they were predominantly into athletics, all of us grew up going to little athletics, and so it was like, and you couldn't pick your events either. Mum and Dad, very strict, and they used to run it at Concord, and so I'd be up with Uncle Gary at the shot put. Or the discus area, hiding because it was the 1500 metre, and I didn't like the long distance. And then you'd hear over the PA, we're waiting to start the 1500 metres.
Where's Tarsha?
With Tarsha Gale. Gary's in her. Will you send her down to the starting line, please?
You're just about to ready
unreal.
to blow your lungs out in the 1500. I know those middle distance races were tough. I did little aths at Heffron.
Hensley
Athletic Park, that's
Athletic,
right,
yeah.
with Randwick Botany Juniors. And I didn't like the 400.
Oh, that's killer too.
The 800 was a little better, but not much. The blowing the lungs out was really difficult. But did you find that was a really good basis for your sport?
Look,
I did.
as it turned out, tremendous grounding for you. Across a number of different sports.
Yeah.
It really gave you a good taste and a good foundation, I guess.
And how did you go at Little Aths? Did you win? And what did you have more stronger sports than others down there?
Both my brothers were really, really good.
They were quick, your brothers, mate.
They were
weren't
quick,
they?
They had state records and things like that.
Yeah.
I did all right. It's a bit hard to say I didn't do well, but it was just like, that's just the household we grew up in. There were always, Mum and Dad had athletes over there, so they were the great achievers, and I guess I just enjoyed it. And
No
did the best
pressure,
I
eh?
could.
No pressure at all, eh?
Oh, no pressure. Both my brothers used to say I was adopted. If I didn't win the race, they was going, that's because you're adopted.
Do you reckon seeing those athletes at your house when you were a kid was inspiration for you and your brothers?
Oh, most definitely. And listen, athletes can party. You know well too, Mike. So our house was always a party house, and there was the likes, Dawny Fraser, Rex Mosser. You just grew up around these really famous athletes, and they're just, mate, they could party.
Dawny used to go all right, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah.
Dawny was a long stayer, mate. She'd go, absolutely.
Mate, she
I've
still
been a
goes
few
well.
nights,
Yeah.
Great lady,
Yeah.
Dawn Fraser, but what a legend. Absolute legend.
Absolute, yep.
And rugby league, how did that start for you? Was it touch footy you've started playing first, or how did that all begin?
Well, just growing up, with Brett and Scott, you can't get up and go to the toilet without being tackled. So it was sort of, it's in your DNA, and if you want to play with the boys, you've got to, learn how to tackle and play. So I could always do it at home, but as a young tucker, I'd be, at the fence watching, my brothers play, and so, I'd say to Mum, why can't I play? And she goes, because you're a girl, you can't play. And then I'd watch Scott sidestep, 3 players, beat them and score. And I'd say, well, I can play because I tackled him this morning and those guys can't.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of grow up watching my brothers play, and you're right, Andrew, I started with touch football. And I didn't know that there was little competitions of rugby league.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, was there any female rugby league played then at that time when
What
you
decade
wanted to
was
start
that?
playing?
Sorry,
Okay.
what decade?
I had to wait till the 90s before I realised that there were, a Sydney Women's Rugby League competition, a Illawarra competition, there was Queensland, So they just weren't known, and so
And they were little pockets that had been organised locally and had, 3 or 4 teams or 5 teams playing, something like that.
yeah, exactly.
And no one
right.
knew about that.
No.
It wasn't like public knowledge. You had to go and research to find out.
Yeah.
Because no one wanted to know about it. The blokes didn't want to know.
Well, that's right. The blokes didn't want to know about women playing rugby league, did they?
I think those little kids grew up and knew that girl could actually
Oh,
tackle
yeah.
Scotty Gale, and
Oh, yeah.
we didn't want that.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's another thing, isn't it?
No, there were all these pockets, and I was playing touch footy, and one of the coaches of these local teams saw me playing touch, and the rest is history, I guess.
Oh, Finn, who's
It
that?
said
Sorry?
Yeah, go on.
Who was that? Who singled you out that you could play that?
Anthony Wilson.
Anthony Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was actually
Yep.
a mate of my brother's. Went to St Pat's at
Sure.
Strathfield, and
Yeah, go on, sorry.
at first, Mum and Dad, I hid it from them. Like,
You played, it says here you played tennis and netball as well, but
yeah, I did.
yeah.
Yeah, so Mum and Dad put all the money into the tennis lessons. I got my best state ranking,
Wow.
and
I see you were going okay.
I was going all right. Yeah.
Well, if you got a state ranking, you're going okay.
Yeah. Jeez.
Bloody humble. Tell us what happened, Tarsha. Come on.
What age were you when you got the state ranking?
Under 16, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And who was the gun female tennis players around at the time? Who would have been the best player around then?
now you're throwing me back. You're talking like professional?
Well, yeah, in Australia. So who were you? Do you remember who you were up against and anybody that turned pro?
Nobody famous.
Okay.
No.
Do you play at White City and that? Because,
Yeah.
state champ, yeah, I
Played
remember.
at White City,
Playing at White City is
Yeah, it was a big deal.
for
Yeah.
my brother who played.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And netball as well?
Yep, played netball.
Now you're going to tell me you played for the state and all
No,
that.
I did not. No. Basketball.
Played for the state.
Well, yeah, I did. Actually, I made the squad in basketball, and then Brett had his big, I think it was his 18th, and we had a big party at home, and then I must have, indulged a little bit, and then I was too hungover the next day to go to that state squad training. Dad was really disappointed with me. Played a lot of sports. I ended up touring the States with basketball. That was a great experience
Wow.
when I was in year 11.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Who'd you play basketball for? Was it school side or was it a club side?
I played for the Parramatta Wildcats.
Yep.
And then the Sydney Supersonics.
Oh, yeah, because I was
Yeah.
a basketballer back in the day. I used to play for Bankstown Bruins against all those sides.
They're our nemesis.
Yeah, well,
Bankstown
my high school
Bruins.
was right next to the stadium there at Bankstown, and our high school actually won the state title when I was in year 11, I think. Yeah, we beat Westfield Sports High. So
You're
that's
giving it the nod of the head.
Yeah, I was just a bit of a head wobble, so there we go.
Beautiful.
About 1991. So, but when Anthony Wilson sort of saw you playing touch football and thought you might go okay in tackle, how did then that develop? And do you remember your first game of rugby league at tackle?
Yeah, what I did was I got invited to play down in the Illawarra, and I was playing. My first team was the Bulleye Cabbage Tree Eagles, and that's the pub, the Cabbage Tree pub. So
Have we
Who
played
was
there?
sponsoring them? Of
Yeah.
course.
I think I've done
Yeah.
a gig there. I'm sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I just remember my first game was just to be able to run through, and you don't have to stop until somebody actually puts you on the ground. Whereas with touch, it was always, just that little touch and you've got to stop.
Yeah.
What age were you when you played that game?
I was 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to wait a long time.
Long time.
Yeah. Maybe 26.
Wow.
But yeah.
So that first tackle that you made, or you got the first time you got tackled in that game, that must have been like a realisation of, wow, this is something I've always wanted to do. Now
Absolutely.
I'm doing it.
In an organised competition, not just, getting up to go to the toilet at home.
Yeah.
It's it was just life-changing, really, and I just couldn't get enough of it.
And you were hiding that from your mum and dad, weren't you?
I was, yes. And
I love it. I love it. What did they think you were doing?
netball, tennis, yeah.
And they were in Sydney, so you were
They were in
driving
Sydney.
down to the Gong
Yep, I was going down to the
play
Gong,
footy.
Play footy.
Come back with a black eye, and they go, "Oh, I got an elbow in the netball."
Bloody netballers. Yeah. So what happened was we then took our Illawarra team into the Sydney comp, and a reporter came round because we were killing it. And so the reporter came to our training down in the Illawarra, and I thought it was just going to be like in the Mercury or something like that. So Mum and Dad wouldn't, but it was in the Telegraph.
Oh.
And there was like 7 coloured shots, and my buff head's in 5 of them.
I think I had a look at the photo. Yeah.
Was that when you had long
Long
hair?
hair.
We saw those photos. And what did your mum and dad say? Tarsha,
Yeah.
come home immediately. We need to talk to you.
I tell you what, I've rung Dad to warn Dad so he can soften the blow for Mum. And he's just
is
gone, yes,
incredible.
darling. She's got the paper in her hand.
Oh.
So, look, Mum and Dad being the sort of people that they are, took a little bit of while to digest it, but then there was the Steelers City Challenge, and that's Newcastle v the Illawarra. And lo and behold, Dad rocks up in his LTD, Mum in a full length fur coat and sand shoes, right? And they're there to watch. And Mum could not help herself. She jumped
Fantastic.
the fence
Yeah.
at half time and said, listen, when you're feeding the scrum, make sure it's your forwards
Oh,
that
how
see you
unreal.
last. And from then on, she became a great mentor,
Wow.
coach. So very, very supportive.
Because you were halfback, weren't you? Were you
Yeah.
playing halfback at the time? Yeah.
Halfback, yeah.
Fantastic. The organiser.
So how was women's rugby league viewed at that stage back in the 90s? Like, was it like what did people think? Like what at the
I'll answer that, Dawes. It wasn't viewed, was it at all?
No,
I mean,
there were no eyes on the game.
yeah.
Like,
how many people turned up to that game, for example, like the Newcastle Wollongong Steel City Showdown? What, a couple of thousand maybe?
no.
Hundreds.
It wouldn't even be,
If you like, yeah.
If you're lucky. It's mostly your family.
Family
your
and a couple of friends.
Yeah.
So maybe a couple of hundred,
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe, and that was a blockbuster crowd.
You were 27, and so the other girls and ladies in the side, were they sort of some younger ones, a mix of ages? How did that work?
Yeah, there were older girls, younger ones, definitely a mix. It's of all ages. Some of them had to wait till they were in their 30s before
Wow.
they were aware that this was
Yeah.
available, and so it was a good mix of ages, and it really sort of took off and grew.
It would have been pretty rough, wouldn't it? It was pretty hard, wasn't it? Because I know my wife who wanted to play, but she was good in the 70s, right, and there was no one playing. She would have just loved it now. She just would have loved it, just taking it on. But and she liked the rough stuff, like you just said, when you first got tackled, you're going, you know what I mean? That's really good, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And we were, I'd look at Brett and Scott playing, and they're on this beautiful green carpet, lush, and then I'd go to my park footy, and I'd have to, we'd do emu
The cricket
lines.
pitch is in the middle.
The cricket pitch is in the middle.
I only took a punt on that, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's a
the cricket pitch. Oh,
Holes in the
And
ground
mate,
everywhere.
if you run through past the cricket, you got to make sure you can step and not get caught, because when you did, that cricket pitch is hard.
Took chunks out
really
here.
hard. I belonged to the junior club, the North Ryde Hawks, and my job was to go, before the kids played, to go and pick up all the dog shit, right, and any sticks or rocks on the ground. Really, 'cause,
Or empty cans?
You are so right.
yeah, really important to do that, you know?
And glass, like
Yeah.
Revellers
Yep.
the night before.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Got pissed on the ground and smashed something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
really.
So you had to walk the ground.
Yep.
Wow.
Actually, I left some of the dog poo there because I wanted to see if anyone actually
Oh,
yeah,
shucks,
you-
he don't.
poo.
So how did you go from that to end up playing for the Rabbitohs? What was the progression there?
Hang on, Dawes, before you answer that. Let me just put my hand there. It's South Sydney till I die.
Glory to South Sydney.
South Sydney
go
till
the
I die. I'm a
Bunnies.
Bunnies.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Go to Tigers.
Just mentioning the name, I'm just going to put the
Well,
glory.
South Sydney, great club, obviously.
Glory.
And they wanted to put a team in the women's competition, and so
What year are we talking about here?
Roughly.
96.
So was that a lot of foresight for them to think about that, Souths, then?
Actually, I think one of
We
us
weren't
had to
going real
approach
good.
them.
Because
Yeah.
they haven't got a
Yeah.
girls' side now, have
No,
they?
but
Yeah.
we'll one
No.
very soon. But
Yeah.
the Souths weren't going real good at the back end of the 90s, and as you remember, got punted out for a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
So taking on a girls' team at that stage was very brave for them, I reckon.
Yeah, we had to approach them, but they were in agreement and they supported us. And so South Sydney actually in the women's was probably the best looked after team. because the South Sydney Juniors Club is
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
So, we were kitted out well, and,
Yep.
our rego was covered, and
All their juniors, they really look after
South
all
Juniors
They look
are
after it.
fantastic.
South Junior, that's their big thing.
So who were you playing against at that, from the sides from the Illawarra and Newcastle again, or who were you playing against?
well, what happened was a lot of the Illawarra girls came over and played for in the Sydney comp.
Wow, yeah.
So, there was Parramatta.
Did you get that started? Do you have anything to do with that, to get the Illawarra girls that you used to play with, or it was something that was going to happen anyway?
Yeah, I think it was just going to
Okay.
happen,
Yeah.
just because we wanted better competition
Sure.
and stuff like that. But there were the people behind the scenes like Laurel Savage. You just can't thank her enough.
Yeah.
She is the one that got us affiliated with the ARL. And that was a big step because, in the first year, if you play for Australia, which was 95, that was the first year, there was little things like you couldn't have the crest because you're not affiliated.
So you couldn't have the proper crest on your jumper.
Couldn't have it. We did get it, but then remember...
So what did you play under in that first year? Like a dodgy Aussie crest or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody came up with it. I'll have to have...
Gee,
a look
those
at the
jumpers
jersey.
might be worth £1 now before the affiliation.
I haven't got one
With your own crest on it, like Aussie crest, but you've made that up because you couldn't have the ARL
that's right.
one. Yeah,
That's right. And
Ray collector.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anyone out there?
It's got one of those.
Yeah, one of those jumpers.
Mate, there would have only been 20 of those jumpers ever made, wouldn't there?
yeah,
With your own crest on it.
that's right.
Have you ever thought about that before?
Oh, guys, you're bamboozling me now. I'm going to have to go home and check the jersey,
Check
see
that
what it
jersey.
looks like.
That's right.
Let us know.
But, yeah.
Because Ray will buy it off you tomorrow and put it in his collection.
So on that Australian side in '95 that you got picked for, was that picked from girls from Queensland and New South Wales, or just how did that work?
Yeah, they had. So what we used to do is, from your particular region competition, you select a rep team. So initially, I was representing Illawarra.
Yep.
Because that's where I started my footy, and then there'd be a Sydney team, there'd be a team from Perth, there'd be
Perth,
a team from Queensland. So we get together and we have the nationals, and then they have an independent panel of judges, and then they announce who's made the Australian team.
And how many would have been in that squad? 20 odd, maybe a bit more?
I've got to say, we toured every single year, so we would have had to have carried at least 25 players, because if you're touring,
Yeah.
you
I
got to
never
do
read
that.
about it, and I always read about rugby league. The papers.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't, Anyway, go on.
Oh,
I just can't believe it.
yeah.
Every year.
And we had a World Cup in 2000, which was, over in England.
You captained that side, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I co-captained that with Karen Murphy, who's now the Titans coach.
That's it.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's who Karen Murphy is, right?
What about
Yeah,
running out
it's
as
lovely.
co-captain in a World Cup? An amazing... I played in the 1992 Cricket World Cup here in Australia. And, of course, Alan Border was our captain. But just to play in a World Cup is amazing. Can't imagine what it's like to be a co-captain.
Well, just in that phase, I started playing, 95.
Yeah.
By 2000, we're playing in a World Cup
Yeah.
over in England.
Could you
Good on you.
believe
That was
that?
growth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who'd you
and,
play in the '95 game?
the Kiwis won.
That must have been a
there was
tough game.
England.
Like the
Yeah.
Kiwis would have been
Yeah, those
tough.
Maori
Kiwis
girls
had
would be
us
pretty
dominated.
tough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was
They had
reading
us.
up on that.
Yeah.
What about the Fiji girls? Dawsey and I were talking about you played against Fiji. Were they tough, the
Yeah.
Fiji girls?
They were tough.
They all got hair like me.
Yeah. And just on that game, when we played over in Fiji, the emu line we had to do and clap wasn't to pick up broken glass or anything, it's to get the bullfrogs or the frogs off the oval, so you didn't land on them
And squash a
them.
frog.
Yeah.
Was there
Wow.
much of a crowd in Fiji for that game, or do you remember?
No.
No?
I mean, I do remember there wasn't much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
The girls playing. Papua New Guinea? PNG, did you ever play against them?
I didn't know.
Yeah, okay.
No, but you think the game's grown now, and it
Yeah.
has. I thought it grew from 95 to 2000 and never imagined how far it's grown
But it was
now.
almost growing under the radar, secretly sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You guys
certainly
were just
was.
kept pushing the barrel along without a lot of press, a lot of acknowledgement, like, oh, yeah, they're playing.
Yeah.
Well, things have changed now, but we'll get to that in a minute. I read a story that you just had to go into the pubs to sell bloody raffle tickets and shit like that, and blokes were daring you to tackle them in the pub so they'd buy that's not $20 worth of tickets.
Yep.
Really?
I worked out.
Oh, come on, Tash, that's bizarre.
I know.
How pissed were they?
Oh, well, this is what I worked out, right? Instead of the meat trays, I'd go to the publican and I'd say, mate, can I buy 10 schooners and raffle them off?
Great idea.
The punters are more likely to buy your ticket if they're going to win a beer for their mates.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, I'd say, oh, look, we're going, representing Australia in rugby league. And they go, what, tackle? I go, yes, mate, tackle. You cop that all
the time. Yeah.
And then they'd go, I'd buy $20 worth of tickets if you tackle my mate Macca over there. Everyone's got a mate called Macca. Right?
Yeah, and I go there regularly too.
Tarsha goes, I've tackled 38 Maccas in
And that's what happened. They go, hey, Macca, she's going to tackle you. So Macca would put his beer at the bar and he'd run at me, flailing hands like a girl, like he thinks a girl
I
runs.
hope you upended him.
I put him on his ass, mate. So,
Yeah.
And then did they all go, oh, fuck, she's serious. Yay! I bet you they all did. And
mate,
come and
they
tackle
don't-
my mate.
Exactly. I never left the pub with a ticket. And they're yelling at me, go back and get some more tickets.
You must have made a fortune.
It was the best fundraising.
I can't believe it.
I believe some of the girls sold their cars as well to fund tours and
They
stuff
did,
like that.
and couldn't keep their jobs, because you've
That's
got to go
another
into,
thing.
like, you're playing for New South Wales, you've got to go into camp. And, so you've got to miss a week's work for camp or you're touring, and we toured every single year. So girls were throwing in their jobs, selling their cars.
That's commitment.
Were
yeah.
were those tours, what, a month? More? 6 weeks?
Yeah, like the World Cup.
Yeah.
Um,
So your job's not going to give you the time off?
No.
So you either go, here's my one chance to represent Australia maybe. I'm
Yeah.
leaving my job and going.
yeah, well, the cricket trips, like the New Zealand, or, they might only go for 2 weeks.
Yep.
So a lot of the girls
Yep.
maybe. I was
Take a bit
so
of holidays
lucky.
or something, yeah.
I very, very supported by, I'll give them a plug, Oakhill College. They were
We'll
very
talk about them in a
supportive.
second.
You've been there a long time, haven't you?
I have, mate, yeah. I've just thrown it in, actually.
Oh.
Yeah,
really?
last year, yeah.
How long were you there for?
34 years.
Mate, my
Mate.
sister and my brother-in-law were primary school teachers for over 40 years. They've just retired now.
Wow.
That's a monumental effort, mate. You should be really, really proud. And you're PE, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Really
well
proud
done,
of that,
man.
mate. Really,
that's a
really
big
proud.
effort, man.
Huge effort.
thank you.
Mate, we
You'd
need
wanna-
more teachers,
Yeah,
more
you'd
good
wanna be
teachers
a
teaching
teacher.
our kids
Okay.
the right things,
Yeah.
And you've had a couple of students who have gone on to play first grade and for New South Wales, and Ryan Papenhuyzen, I believe, is one of them. And
Ryan Papenhuyzen, what a great bloke.
the
Luke
Paps, he
Keary-
came back last week, had a
Yes,
blinder.
he had a blinder. And you know what? Just on the weekend, I presented the Scott Gale Memorial Shield.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
on it was Ryan Papenhuyzen, 2016. Now, I think in 2016 he was in my HSC class.
Wow.
So
yeah.
he was so modest, college captain, incredible athlete, and a really good student, believe it or not, really good. So, yeah, him and Luke Keary,
Yeah.
good little
My
prodigy there.
daughter loves the Paps. I won't mention her name, Mel, but she loves the Paps.
Mel loves the Paps. What about the hair, Mel? Do you like the Paps
Oh,
hair?
she likes the hair. She likes everything about the Paps.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
been at him. I'd be going, mate, you wouldn't get away with that at
That's
Oakhill.
cool.
But he's always been like that because he's been in the Tigers juniors. Do you know? He was coming up through the grades.
Yes, and
yeah,
they
and
let him go.
Well, Tedesco was there.
Yeah, that's right.
Before the sombreros got him. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, now,
Exactly right.
Luke Keary was mentioned, Dawsey, but of course Ray wanted to go back because he got a chance to mention Balmain Juniors.
Yeah.
That's
The
right.
West Tigers.
Yeah, West Tigers, Balmain
Very important
Juniors,
that
yes.
it's a West Tigers.
Yeah, now, what about Luke? Because he played schoolboys in that, didn't he?
Yeah. He was a
Did he
Yeah, I
play?
think he did.
Or was that
Yeah.
for rugby union, maybe? I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Well, Oakhill's a rugby
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, there you go.
school, but both Paps and Luke were, heavily involved in their rugby league.
When you first saw them individually or at the first school carnival or whatever, did you go, they
talent.
look good? Yeah.
But there would have been a lot of talent, besides them that didn't go anywhere,
Yeah.
Because I went through the alumni, is that the word?
That's it, alumni.
Alumni. And
I'm
that
really
college,
happy you got that out, Ray.
Thank you, man. Usually I
3
can't
syllables
get it.
there. 3 syllables.
Very hard for me because he always I couldn't speak English before I come onto the podcast, but I'm getting better. Yes. Do you know, it's a very musical school too, and one of the teachers there used to be in our band called Stuart Gillies.
Yes.
Do you know Stu?
Yes.
Yeah, he's retired too. He's about to retire.
I think
Is that
he
right?
left last year, maybe.
Yeah.
Or,
Maggie was the drummer in our band for about 10 years still.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great
Bit of
drummer.
rhythm.
I call him the
Great drummer.
professor.
Yeah.
Just
He didn't
with his
like that.
glasses on and that.
Yeah.
Up the back. Looks like the professor on the drums.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I've got to give another plug to
Sure.
Christian Brothers Lewisham because
Yeah,
I haven't
sure.
actually retired.
Yeah.
I've just left Oakhill.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing casual teaching at Christian Brothers Lewisham. The boys there are
Near you?
fabulous. They love their
Not
league.
Lewisham.
That's got
Lewisham's
Oh,
near
that's right.
Petersham.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, Petersham.
That's got a great rugby league
How's that
pedigree
near
at
me?
school.
I live
Yeah,
in South.
mate.
Hang on, Dawes. hang on.
Randwick Petersham.
Oh, the cricket club.
Yeah.
I thought you meant me. I live in South Coogee. Lewisham is nowhere near.
No, but you're
Petersham
Randwick
Oval.
Petersham.
Randwick Petersham, the
Yeah.
cricket club where I'm the president. So Petersham Oval.
So we just
one
have
of
a
our first
verbal
grade
agreement.
rounds.
Yeah.
So did you get poached by them?
No, I just thought, okay, I took long service and then I thought, no, I'm not ready to give up
Oh, good.
entirely.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It's the money, isn't it? It's always the money. Isn't it?
does help. The money
it's
does
great.
help.
It's
And
a wonder. It's a wonder.
they're great. Like I just say, look, I can come in these days, and they go, yep, come on in, and that way, with my prep for footy and stuff like that and commentary, I can balance my.
You can't retire, mate.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that a few years ago. I know the double knee replacement together.
Wow.
And then I'm still president of the cricket club, and I owe that club. Without that club, when I went down there as a 17-year-old, I don't have the career that I've had, so I'm trying to put back into the club. Speaking at a few charity functions, speaking at a few corporate gigs. They keep ringing up. And now I realise that, like you've got too much knowledge in your head that you need to give these kids about the journey. You can't not do that.
Yeah.
And I can't not do that either. Our
gotta
job
give
now
back.
is to inspire this generation to go on the journey that we have. And what a journey. I mean, my life's just been insane. What I'm hearing out of you, unbelievable journey you've been on.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
back
And
to
you
the
didn't
college.
have the support I did.
Wiz, come on.
Sorry, Ray. All right, go, mate. Sorry, Shields.
Back to the
Just get
college.
emotional. That's the emotional shit coming
He
out.
loves it. He really does. He loves it.
You're doing that heavy breathing thing.
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
That's because of his lung. Is it lungs? No, they're okay. Nick Norton.
Ray,
Nick Norton.
stop
Nicholas
talking.
Norton. Nick N. Norton. Nicky Norton.
Yeah, blonde. What talent are we talking about?
Well, he's bald now. We don't know what.
He's the lead singer of the Angels.
And his mum taught there.
Yes, that's
Yes,
the one. Yes.
Christine Norton.
That's correct.
Nick Norton.
Yes.
Blonde, cute kid.
Yeah.
Not anymore, bald, looks
Yeah.
old.
Really
Shout
ugly
out
and
to
that.
you.
Yeah.
No,
No,
he was
Nicky, I'm joking.
He
Yeah.
was the drummer in the Angels for
Yeah.
about 6 or 7 years, and then they said, "Oh, well, we need you to play guitar and sing all the songs now." So now he's up the front singing.
'Cause that's
and
what
playing
he's
gotta
doing
get-
for us.
Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
to see that.
Yeah.
I've got to get out there and see.
We did
was
with Nicky
unreal.
again. Nick was in our band for about
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now he's lead. We go like this. Taught him everything he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now he's the lead
yeah.
singer of the Angels.
Hey, yeah. So Nick Norton, then Tim Rogers. You heard of Tim Rogers, UMI, the singer of UMI.
He went there as
He
well.
went there. Do you know
Really?
him?
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. Do you like his
look,
music?
Yeah, he's
Incredible performing arts department.
It's
at
incredible
Oakhill.
because they've
Yeah.
got all the instruments. Because I know Stuart used to get them. Give him, no, I'm only, no, I'm only
Steal
joking.
them from
Gillies.
But Tara Rushton,
Yeah.
yeah, went there. You know who Tara Rushton is?
You're really
Yeah.
showing me up here.
No,
you know.
no, it's okay. No,
Ask
because
me
we want to talk
the-
about it. Cooper Cronk's
Yeah.
partner.
Right.
Do you know Cooper Cronk?
Cooper Cronk.
Yeah.
Work with him.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tara Rushton went
Yeah.
there. Can you
Where did
believe that?
Work with commentary, or where did you work
Yeah,
with
commentary. Yeah.
Still do with Fox.
him? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dominic Perrottet?
Yes.
is that
I
it?
know who he is.
Perrottet.
Perrottet. That's it.
Thank you.
The Premier.
Former.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you
Former
believe-
Premier.
Former Prem.
I've got my, what's this called? Kombucha.
he was calling it Kombucha before. But yes, Ray and I love our kombucha. It's very good for your gut biome. Isn't
And
it?
one day,
Keeping you fit.
do you reckon the Lowe brothers will look after us?
Is that what we're drinking? Because that's a very good pick, Lowe Brothers.
Yeah.
Kombucha.
We like Remedy too, don't we?
Remedy's very good.
This is just one of our ads that we do.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay.
Right.
So they look after you.
Well, we're hoping they will.
Ray, on to one of your favourite topics, State of Origin.
I love State
Ray
of
loves
Origin.
State of Origin.
I love
And how did you start out with playing for New South Wales and the story there?
Yeah, well, when we became interstate challengers and we became New South Wales v Queensland, I was lucky enough to be the first captain of New South Wales.
Oh,
so
man, that's unreal. No, it is. That's huge, man. Huge.
It's a great honour.
Because I didn't know
great
they were
honour.
doing, the females were playing State of Origin, and I follow rugby league, but I mustn't follow it that closely.
Was it called State of Origin
it
straight
was
away?
interstate.
That's why.
Yeah. The girls, playing at the time, we referred to it as Origin, but it wasn't.
But it wasn't
actually
officially,
classified.
yeah.
That's right. And so, Trotto, shout out to Trotto. He presented me with the jersey.
That's Dave Trodden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no,
Great
Dave
man.
well. Great man.
player number 001. Because the captain gets the number one.
Can I have that?
And then it's
Can
alphabetical.
I have that? Wow.
That is
Yeah.
great.
No, well,
That's
what
great.
a piece of memorabilia that is.
That
The
is.
number one jumper for the Blues.
Very, very lucky because that's the way they do it. They give you the captain, the number one, and then alphabetical after that.
So all these girls playing right at the moment, they've all got numbers as well?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what are they up to? Have you got any idea? Would it be 100 already? Maybe
Oh,
more?
way over.
Oh, 200
Yeah,
odd or something
yeah.
like that. Wow.
But at that stage, was it just one game each year, or was it a series of games? Or
No, I think the most we did was 2, but typically it was just 1.
Yeah.
And see, that's another one. You had to fly up to Queensland,
Yeah. Have
and so
time off,
maintaining your
acclimatise.
job,
Yeah.
and, all that stuff. But
And what was the intensity of those early games? I mean, were you belting the shit out of each other or what? It was pretty
there is
serious.
nothing bigger. There is no bigger rivalry than New South Wales Queensland. And mate v mate, state v state, thump 'em. Yeah.
So even back then when it wasn't classed as Origin, the girls were just going out and it was on for young and old.
Oh, for sure.
Very meaningful. It's for our state. You're
Yeah.
the captain.
Yeah.
You're G'ing them up before. Let's go and get out there and get in.
Yeah, what were you saying to them? Is there anything you can share with us? Like something no one knows that only you're going to tell us now when they're in the sheds.
Come on, ladies. I've got to play like refined young women we are.
Dawsey came up, and I want to bring this up right now, with a really interesting thing saying that Eric Grothe was part of the shoulder pad type thing to
No,
come
it's
over.
someone else called Eric Grothe.
Is there someone else called Guru?
Must be. He wouldn't know what.
No, I think he did.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because we know Guru really well. We've had him in here, and we've played a lot of gigs with him in the band. He's the loveliest human
He's
ever
the
met.
best, eh?
He's never mentioned that to us, although it's hard to get a word out of Guru sometimes. He's pretty
yeah,
quiet.
so I found that somewhere last night doing some research, and I thought, wow, that's an interesting. Yeah, I'll have to mention it to the guru
Because without being rude, in the early days, the shoulder pads would have only come to here. What were you doing to protect your chests at the time?
Didn't wear him.
Wow.
Didn't wear him. No, and that was a common
And I mean, if
question.
you get a heavy blow there, I mean, that's
gonna hurt.
serious pain, isn't it?
Well,
No,
you've got a
not
pretty
really.
tender area, the men.
It's true. Yeah.
And that's fair income in the tackle zone, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yep.
So,
Yeah.
But I
we
mean, if
never
you
really-
got a shoulder or a high shot right across the chest in those days, you'd have to feel that.
Mate,
And
they would block it.
but with these shoulder pads now that come down and protect, is that enough protection? Is it better? Did the girls say that it's protection?
It's not actually
No.
really
It's like the
spoken
headgear.
about.
It's like the
Yeah, like it's optional. You can do that. But honestly, the biggest breast pain I ever had was when a tennis ball hit me. I was up at the net.
Yeah.
So I don't ever recall having breast pain playing
Someone
tackle
just
footy.
drilled one straight and
Yeah.
you copped it right on the boob.
I know. How good's my coordination looking that one?
Looking
Anyway.
for the drop shot.
Hey, did you get a cricket ball on your boob?
Oh, that'd hurt.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah?
here, everywhere.
Not
Got
the-
hit.
Right.
Got
What about
hit.
on the nipple?
No, can't remember on the nipple. But
That would have killed
why
that.
did you go straight to the nipple?
I don't
Because
know.
that's the tenderest part. You feel it.
Yeah, I know. There were guys I played cricket
Sugar,
with.
keep your hands to
that was,
yourself.
squeezing. They love squeezing the nipple in the dressing room, and it used to
don't
bloody
they?
hurt. Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah.
it hurt.
Nipple cripple.
Yeah, that's it.
Nipple cripple.
Merv Hughes. And you couldn't argue with him. He was too big and hairy,
So fast forwarding
sweaty,
to,
everything.
to the modern state of origin that the women are playing now. What are your thoughts as compared to when you started to where it's developed now? It's 25,000 people at Newcastle the other week in the rain. That's like
Unbelievable.
exactly.
And an unbelievable game.
What a
in
great
those
game.
conditions.
My favourite game.
It was. I love the fact. I knew it was a sellout. You say, what's that? 33,000 or something.
And you were doing the commentary, by the way.
Yep. And I just thought, oh no, it's pouring rain. We're not going to, get the crowds there or whatever. But God love Novocastrians. They're out there in
Yeah,
force.
they got nothing else to do, eh? No, joking.
It's a great place. Like when
Yeah, it is.
And then I think this Thursday up north we'll break another record. Yeah.
Oh,
for
will,
sure.
because, it's 1-1,
Mate,
isn't
it'll
it?
be
1-1.
absolutely chock-a-block. The skill level presented in that game in Newcastle, in pouring rain, I mean, the conditions were abysmal, was unbelievable, really.
And-
These girls are not, I mean, what am I trying, are they more skillful now? Are they better athletes now? Have they got better, they have to be. It's a long way down the track, isn't it?
Absolutely. The skill level is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they've got strength and conditioning. So you can, just over the last couple of years, you can see how these players
Are more athletic.
fitter,
They're built.
faster,
They're
stronger.
built. Yeah.
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 And it's tremendous.
Just before you ask that one quickly, Ray, just doing the commentary for that game, did you want to run out there yourself? You must have, like, considering where you've come from and to play in front of 25,000, 30,000 people, the blood must have been pumping.
Yeah, absolutely. It was incredible. The whole atmosphere, everything is just tremendous, and it's only going to raise another level. Yeah, I so wish I could go back 20 or 30 years and do that. Ray, your hands up.
Just to recap on the
I'm
state
not
of
your
origin.
teacher
It's
here,
weird, isn't it? It's weird when he puts his
sorry.
hand up.
Because I didn't want to get detention, which usually puts me on
Naughty
detention
corner.
after the. Just to recap on the state of origin, so New South Wales won the first one 22-12. Now, they should have won that by 40, really, but that's Queensland just stopping those tries. The second one, as we were talking about, in Newcastle, Queensland won 11-10 with the field goal in the last minute. Another one New South Wales probably should have won, but you were paying compliments to Montoya Hudson, the fullback for Queensland. Some of those saves were unreal, and you just couldn't believe it, could you?
Oh,
Really?
in the under-19s.
Sorry, I'll rephrase that. Yeah, that was the under-19s, yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
They
Because
were,
I called
they-
the 19s as well.
Yeah. So I've just mixed everything up, okay? So
Yeah, you fucked that right up, Ray.
Yeah, it's all right.
What's
So
going on,
I'll
mate?
go back to it. So in the open age, New South Wales and Queensland, and we're going to go up to Queensland for the third game. In the under-19s, they only play one game? Did they?
Just the one game.
The
yeah.
one game, that
Yeah.
was unbelievable, where New South Wales won by 40 points.
Smashed
or so.
them.
Yep.
Really
You
put
were
it on.
paying the praises of Montoya Hudson, correct?
Yeah, phenomenal.
It
Incredible.
was.
What happened was, if you can cast your mind back to the Open Women's, Shannon Martor got
Yeah.
put on report for pulling
Yes.
Yazzy's pigtail.
Yep.
Now, it was quite significant. However, this Montoya Hudson,
Yes.
she felt that she had the opposition's hair, let it go immediately. Montoya went down to the deck and
was
managed
unreal.
to get back up and catch up to perform a try-saving tackle to prevent a try. It was just,
And the
great.
game was gone then too, but she did.
Oh, still
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah, still
These
fighting,
are these
still
athletes that are coming through. They're
Yeah,
tremendous.
And back to the 19s, Evie McGrath and Casey Ray, I couldn't believe, like half and 5'8", they were unbelievable, weren't they? Really. And I think one's going to the Tigers, or both are in the Tigers juniors. I'm not sure. In West Tigers,
They're,
I know McGrath is.
I think Jamie Soward, he's throughout the junior competition.
Dragons. He's from the
good
Dragons.
boys,
He's
Howie,
coaching
isn't
the
he?
Dragons, and he's snavelled a few of them actually.
yeah.
Because they're from the Illawarra, predominantly that under-19 team.
Sure.
They came from, I think there was 8 or 9 of them came from the Tarsha Gale Cup Illawarra Steelers team, and they went through undefeated. So New South Wales had all these connections, in particular the one you mentioned, the half and 5'8".
Yeah,
and,
had played a lot together.
Yeah.
No, they were so good. You saw the game. Yeah, it was unreal. Did you see the chance?
The under-19s. Yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The biggest difference now has got to be that in your day there was like just a remnant of a pathway. Now there's serious pathways. It's like the same in the girls' cricket. I've been watching that very, very closely for the last 10 years, and there's now a pathway.
There is a clear pathway, and you can see right through and how it's improving these girls. The girls that are playing now in the open level that have come through those pathways, they're just automatically their technique and their skill has been so well coached throughout the younger years. So important.
And then I think too, to attract players like Emma Tonegata, who was a sevens player, right? I think a gold medalist at the or silver gold medalist at the Olympics.
Yep.
To take her away from that, she must have viewed that as, well, here's a pathway for me to play professional rugby league, represent my state, represent my country again in a different sport. She's one of my favourite players.
Well, here's a scoop for you.
Yeah.
We actually had her first. So it just shows how our pathways weren't clear.
Oh, so she played rugby league
She played
first.
in
They
2000,
wanted that gold medal.
2013. She played for Australia. And then because rugby league didn't have the pathways,
then she
moved
went to
over
sevens.
and then we stole her back.
Yeah, wow.
Talking of pathways, the Tarsha Gale Cup, that is an under-19s competition, is it?
That's right, yeah.
So what did it feel like when that was named after you and, obviously paying homage to all the stuff that you've done? That must have been a massive moment.
Mate. Have you ever been embarrassed? You seem like...
Don't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, there were so many very talented, very, good women that competition could have been named after. So, yeah, it is very, very humbling that I was actually chosen and yeah.
But being the captain of Australia, that's, that...
And the first captain of the
New South
Blues.
Wales, so that's, you're talking yourself down a bit there,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
reckon too.
Maybe that helped. I think the first captain of the Blues because it's a New South Wales competition. But
You're a very humble girl, Tash, but humility is such a beautiful thing to have, mate. Anybody who's got a big melon spruiking about themselves, my mum always used to say, no one likes a big head, Michael. And it's true, isn't it? It's
I've got a big head and I'll tell everyone because I think I'm pretty good.
I tell you what, growing up in the Gale household, there's no room for egos at all. You get slapped down real
because everyone was a champion, eh?
Yeah.
So that Tarsha Gale Cup, it's obviously a pathway to WNRL. That's how it works, and it's like a reserve grade competition. Is that what it is? The
Tarsha Gale Cup is played in the beginning of the year.
Yep.
So the girls play in that. Some of them pick up contracts for NRLW.
Yep.
Wow.
And there's so many of them that have come through that exact same competition.
Yep.
Like your Jamie Chapman, your Tegan Berry.
What about Jamie Chapman out on the wing? What about when she's in full flight?
What about
Isn't
poor
that
Tegan
something?
Berry not getting picked? Like, she must be that close. She's like a runner and really good sort. But, No, she's
I don't think
unbelievable.
Kylie Hilda picks them on looks.
No, I'm just saying.
That's
But
right,
she's
isn't it?
fast. She's unbelievable.
Oh,
isn't she?
mate, she's the Flash. That's her nickname.
And tough as, you wouldn't think so. You
Mate.
look at her, but she can take a tackle, can't she?
She
She can
certainly
take a
can.
hit. Yeah.
We've got a plethora of very, very talented fullbacks
Yes.
at the moment.
Yes.
So, yeah, it is tough that Tegan Berry didn't get a gig, but I tell you what, Jamie,
man.
I call Jamie Fast Car Chapman.
Unbelievable. The running style is incredible.
I know, you've got to be a certain age to
Yeah,
get that, right?
yeah.
But when I first called her that, Jamie was playing in the under-19s State of Origin, and I've gone, Jamie Fast Car Captain Chapman, and then I thought, oh, nobody's going to do that.
Mate, to see her beat a tackle on the left and right side and then just get in full flight, that is just beautiful to watch.
But didn't they mark her? In the
Absolutely,
second
they
game,
did.
she just
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah.
And that's the
Well,
game.
you've got
now.
them.
That's the
Absolutely,
game now.
mate. You can't give her a metre.
No, you can't.
She's around you and gone.
And they were just right onto her.
Absolutely.
And she's built up strength.
Oh,
too.
she's
You can see
strong,
throughout the
mate.
years, like,
Yeah.
Strong.
No,
Sorry, Dawes, we're getting carried away.
Sorry, George.
Talk
You
about
get
our
the
favourite-
question. We can't stop talking about your beautiful questions.
I was going to include Ray in this question in talking about young girls participating in rugby league, because Ray used to be a coach with the North Ryde Hawks, which is a club around this area.
Hawks.
Hawks.
Mighty Hawks.
Good on you, Ray.
And you were talking to the president yesterday, and asking him what the ratio is for girls and boys, and there's a huge amount of girls playing at the club there.
And I said, Tarsha Gale's coming on. He was really excited, the president, Matthew Van. I actually coached him in the under 6s and 7s and 8s, and he's now become president and brought his children there. So
That's a beautiful thing, right?
It is.
Yeah, to stay at the club and
it's
move.
just
Yeah.
And mate, he was a really great player, but what a rat bag! He was a real rat bag, and now he's really, he's really level-headed. Except,
And they look at him and they go, we never thought he would have been the bloody president when he was a kid running around the day.
Because he was driving cars when he was 9. But so he got my son involved. He's a coach in the under 13, so my son's coaching the under. But he sends me this. At the moment, the Hawks are sitting at 60-40 women to men ratio.
Wow.
And we have a massive participation of the girls in the club from 6s to 18s. Me, as the president, has a daughter who plays in the younger ages, and we're looking at forming our inaugural. So have a look at him. He's my teacher. Under 10s,
that's
all
4
girls.
syllables. That's the,
I'm going to write a song
You
with
are
4
on fire,
syllables.
Ray.
man.
Yeah.
All girls side next year. This year we have 16s and 18s, and a lot of that play tackle in the younger ones. Our 16s side last year for most was the first team playing with a rugby league ball, but our superstar coach Marcus Cox brought those girls into a minor premiership winning side. But they were playing tag. I think they've got some of the older girls playing tag.
yeah,
I
there's
don't
a
know what that-
progression.
Okay.
But it is the fastest growing area of rugby league is the female participation rate.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I was speaking to Noddy, Brett Morley.
Yes.
Who coaches the West Tigers?
Yes,
Women's,
on Sunday, and he was keen to tell me, and he was so proud. Both his daughters are now playing tackle.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. My daughter played when she was in 7s, but she couldn't go to the 8s and 9s because they didn't have a side. Do you know what I mean? But she would have played.
That's those
do you know what I mean?
gaps.
Yeah,
in the
it's-
pathways that.
That's right. And it's the same for the boys too now. With those gaps, they don't have the gaps, but the women.
Do you know the thing I love the most about the women? And you'll see this on Thursday night. You get into the huddle before the game. They've got the beautiful braided hair with a beautiful little bow in it, got the long lashes and the eye makeup on, and then they go and beat the crap out of each other. I mean, I just love it. Got the lippy on,
I'm
whatever,
like,
and
look
then they
at
jump.
those eyelashes.
I
What
know,
are you thinking?
I know, and they go and beat the kahunas out of each
They're
other.
unbelievable. A question from one of our listeners. This is true. I told him that you were coming on. Can you ask Tarsha? Watching the girls play most sport, chicks have short hair. Just noticed both sides of the New South Wales and Queensland all have long hair and makeup. How come that?
Well, it's a
I
thing.
don't know if that's how come that, as in.
How come
that is, yeah.
That's grammatically.
Yeah, so
Yeah, not
exactly.
We've got a school
exactly how he
teacher
said
here,
it to
remember.
me.
We've got a school teacher
But why
here.
is that? Why is that? Is it?
It's a thing. Like the Queenslanders are known for their long blonde hair, and they have the set braids. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a few that go to the tanning salon.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Can I just say that is unbelievable?
Is it because they want to tell the world that they're actually still women and want to look like women, even though we're playing what's regarded basically as a men's sport originally? But we're the chicks, we're getting made up, and then we're going to go out and beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, and play great footy. I mean,
Mate.
they're females. They're proud of their appearance.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
they look
Well,
after
anyone
themselves.
is, and the blokes do it. They pluck their eyebrows. And,
Mate, this is all my son says. He's 30. Oof, there's some good sorts running around there, Dad. I go, I can't make that comment, mate. I'm old enough to be their grandfather.
Yeah.
He goes, well, I'm telling you, there's some really good sorts running around playing footy.
There are.
And I remember Dorsey here. He was really into Lingerie NFL. Right now, he wouldn't watch NFL until he says, "Ray, you got to see the lingerie."
You've
But
just
they
dropped me right in it, Ray.
That's a bit sexist, Ray. We've got a lady
No.
here, Tarsha,
All I'm saying,
and,
Tarsha, all I'm saying is unbelievable sports people. Look, that were playing, then they had to play in a smaller oval. Did you ever see it?
to get a berth, you're saying, to get a game.
It was just like, but the athleticism. I can't. How many syllables?
Athleticism, 5.
5, yeah, 2, more than 4.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Anyway, it was.
I've forgotten the question now. Sugar, you're just
Talking about
you're blowing me.
lingerie NFL. How do we get into lingerie
Sorry, I just had
NFL?
to put Dawes in there because I remember what a big fan he was of that. You know?
Thanks. I'll wear that one with
that's
pride.
right.
There's a couple of the NRLW girls that actually went over to play in the Lingerie NFL.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Got any
But
names?
only,
Got
it
any
was just
names?
like a
Names?
trial.
Got any
Always,
names?
my
Yeah.
questions are
I'm
always.
Googling it as we
Kiara
speak.
Tuckeroni. Yeah.
But
I
the
think Corbs
quarterbacks.
Baxter, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But the quarterbacks were unbelievable. Like, really. Like,
They were all good, Ray. No, I didn't watch it. I'm sorry.
Oh, you did.
On
I
another
didn't watch
topic,
it.
No, can we just go back to the girls? When I watched the earlier female rugby league players, the kicking game, and they were a bit hogs, you know, there wasn't much passing.
Yeah, one up the middle
You know,
sort of thing.
And it's like the cricket with the girls. They couldn't really throw that ball from out. From right
the
out.
outfield.
outfield.
From the boundary.
Yeah.
From the boundary.
Outfield.
From the boundary.
How many syllables?
2.
Just 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really improved for both sports. And I think that's what we love. The kicking is so good now, and the passing, cut out passes, you know? Sorry, I'm just blown away.
The kick selection and the pass selection are phenomenal.
Well said.
They just, it's, when I was playing, it was like just boot the ball,
Yeah.
you know, try and get field position. But now that the selection of kicks,
Really clever, aren't they? Yeah.
it's tremendous.
have you been involved in coaching as well? Have you done any of that?
The women's, I've done a bit of mentoring, but I was, you know, head of PE at Oakhill College, so I spent 30 years coaching.
Okay, yeah.
So by the time this came around now, and I'm loving doing the commentating and whatnot,
Yeah.
I didn't want to stand in an oval, you know.
It'd be pretty
late at
stressful too,
night.
coaching, I suppose, at a high level. So
Yeah, and I think they've got really good people coming through
Yep.
that will do that justice. We're going to have a lot more females.
It's
but
going to be great.
I love the fact we don't just put a female coach there because she's female. We're still sticking with what's best for the growth of our game, but I know there are some female coaches coming through.
well, female referees too. They're in
Yeah.
men's first
Yeah.
grade as well.
Yeah.
And so they've sort of progressed as
Stacey
well.
Badger,
So.
Belinda
yeah.
Sharp, yeah.
Do you know what I think's
We
changed
won't get into that one.
in the women playing NRL and the women playing cricket? It was the same. If I went back sort of 20 years ago, the women had just run in. There were some really good bowlers, but they just wanted to get it down there. And if it was in the slotting zone, they'd hit across the line and score runs. It's the vision now that's changed, and the techniques are so good. And I call it consciousness about the game. Like when you really jump down the rabbit hole, it's not just passing the ball around, is it? It's looking at the chess game and how you're going to draw players away, find you out the middle. Cricket's really big on that, and the girls have really, really jumped down the rabbit hole. And some of the things I see them do on the field, I think, oh, Jesus, I would have never have seen you make that move 10 years ago. You wouldn't have been brave enough to put a fielder there because you just would have had it ringed to save a run. Now you're looking to get people out.
Yeah,
So they're
absolutely.
really looking to understand how to look at this player, work out their weaknesses really quick, and make these adjustments quickly to put them under severe pressure. And I'm looking at that in the women's rugby league as well.
Absolutely. I think women's sport is just going through the roof. And
All sport. Yeah.
Incredible.
the females are such good students of their particular
They
game.
listen. Yes.
They absorb everything, and they're so grateful for every little bit of extra information. So I think what you're saying there is, they're just tremendous students of the game, and all the little nuances
Yeah.
and the particular plays, patterns, systems.
Even your
learning it.
preparation before the
Yeah.
game. I know what the girls go through now on a professional basis to prepare just to play for New South Wales or play in their club sides. But when they're playing for Australia, their preparation's as good as any Australian cricket team I've ever been with. I mean, their diet, their understanding. They got those things on the back now where they know how far they run.
Chuckers.
All this sort of stuff, which didn't exist in my day or our day. But it's so refined now, and they are unbelievable athletes. I look at some of the girl cricketers.
Incredible.
I just go, man, they're as good as I've ever seen.
Well, cricket is kind of like the Australian female sporting flagship. They broke down the barriers.
We've always had a women's team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
always.
Yeah.
On the growth of women's sport in general, Leichhardt Oval, now that that's getting government funding, we actually did a podcast from Leichhardt Oval.
Now that we did our podcast from there.
Tiny little bit of help. Hopefully, we pushed it across the line.
It was
That's
us
why
that
they
did
got
it.
the funding.
That's what we're saying.
Right, yeah.
So
Just want to make that clear. That's what you were saying.
we interviewed Darcy Byrne and Junior
It
Pearce and this young guy called Paddy Tobin who's got a Facebook group.
Fascinating. All of them were.
Pushing it. So,
But it was us.
So what we found out after going to Leichhardt, and I've never been there before, that there's over 140 events each year there, and a lot of them are female sport, whether it's rugby union or Sydney FC's women's side, and they're actually using a lot of the funds to upgrade the dressing rooms to cater to female athletes.
Yeah, well done.
That's a really good point. I think they've got 40 mil granted.
Yes.
And you know, this is what people said to us straight away, or to me. Oh, you know, West Tigers are only going to bloody play 3 or 4 games here. And I go, mate, we spoke to Darcy Byrne.
Yeah.
He said there's like 140 days of sports, school sport, junior sport, female sport, whatever sport on that ground.
Yeah.
It's not only about West Tigers. They're big days. It's about providing a really good place for our young people to go and play sport.
Absolutely. And you brought up a good point there about the change rooms. You know, when we were playing, it's like they're the men's change rooms.
Yeah.
And girls need a nervous wee before you go out. And so the coaches actually had to make the adaptation because we're queuing up for this one bathroom.
Yeah.
So the time of warming up.
Yeah,
and
plenty
the
of
coaches
urinals
talk,
there, but no
Yeah,
toilets, that's right.
I was never good at using
I knew some that were.
But so little simple things like that.
Yeah.
And they're coming through with the goods, which is great.
And because of the podcast that we had at Leichhardt, everyone's aware that it's not just for the West Tigers.
Yeah.
Really, it's all for the
Well,
young
A
sports.
lot of the juniors have played
And
there.
so
yeah.
the Premier and the Prime Minister listened to the podcast and thought, hey, it's not just about the West Tigers.
Because we did say during the podcast a couple of times, come on, Minzy, get your bloody hand in
Come
your pocket,
on.
Minzy, and get some money here. And before we knew it, they'd 40 million.
And then we sang a song for
Albo,
them.
come on, Albo, get your hand in your kick, Albo. What's going
NZE. Is that how you spell it?
Who?
Minzy.
Ray, I think they heard you and they thought, we like the cut of this bloke's jib and let's hand over millions of dollars to Sugar Ray.
So that's a fantastic thing.
Gotta
But
get off the
how do we
drugs.
get onto Leichhardt? Oh, you're talking about women's sport.
The women's sport, yeah. So, and onto your commentary, how long have you been doing the commentary for?
I think since 2019.
Okay.
I think the NRLW started in 2018, and there was just 4 teams.
Yeah.
Right.
I missed that. That was awful. That was really bad, man.
Yeah.
I wanted more games.
Yeah. But we just had to make sure that we didn't go too big too fast. Growth is about depth, not width.
Yeah.
So we're getting there, and we go to another 2 teams. So I started with Fox in 2019. I've been doing the Harvey Norman New South Wales state competition. I've been doing that for a few years, and I'm still doing that as well. So
Onto Las Vegas.
Come on, man.
Just the women's game internationally, because we went to Las Vegas this year to do the podcast because Junior Pearce, being one of the commissioners, helped.
where was my invite then?
Well, we're going again next year.
We're going to go
you'll
again next year.
You can go because I won't be
going.
able to afford it unless we get a sponsor. I'm out. So you can take my spot.
Well, Joe Hockey's going to come on board and road and sponsor us, so maybe little Maggie will help us out. But so while we're over there, we just thought, is there any plans for the women's game to tag on to the men's game? Because I think as a spectacle for the Americans,
Fantastic.
it would just go down a treat, the women's game.
yeah, they had a talent ID there, and
That's right.
They
Yes.
bought
Roosters
2
actually-
guys and 2 chicks they found, didn't they? That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the Roosters bought the first.
Of course they would.
Yes. But Sugar, don't worry.
Don't get me started.
Don't worry that she's failed on medical grounds, so they've had
Oh.
to send her back. Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll get the
She's
other
a
one.
bit crook.
Oh.
Yes.
That's awful. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not good. I don't know the full details, but yes, there is talk that they will take the women's game to Vegas. I don't know if it'll be as soon as next year. I'm pretty sure it won't, but it's definitely in the mix. And Peter V'landys has been speaking about it quite publicly a lot about getting the girls over there too.
That'd be interesting because that'd be a 3-game Saturday, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
They wouldn't split it over the Saturday, Sunday. You'd watch probably the girls first and then the 2 NRL games. Or an NRL game, the girls in the middle.
Yeah.
And then, but it
Super
was,
Saturday.
mate, to be there at Allegiant Stadium with 20,000 screaming Aussies and another 20,000 Americans that turned up.
In the halfway mark, only 5 rows up.
It was really surreal to watch rugby league in Vegas and the hype on the Thursday night when the whole thing was sort of
The fan night.
the fan night and the opening of the NRL season
was unreal.
Yeah.
in Fremont Street. We just said, we'll turn up. There'll be a couple of thousand there. There was 20,000 people there, all Aussies,
Amazing.
all on the drink.
Yeah.
But I remember talking to a guy in the bar in Las Vegas, and he was saying that there's no equivalent NFL women's game and that as well. So there seems to be, there's obviously rugby union in America, but there seems to be this big market for women who want to play a sport, a contact sport, could take right off.
Yeah, and V'landys is all over that. Like the Pacific games that we played in November, and we've got it this year as well because the Prime Minister backed it for 2 years, improved the relations internationally. So definitely, rugby league is looking to go far more, into the Pacific Islands as well as America, and it's just going to grow.
So we're going to be there, but if you're going to be there, we'll get you on and we'll have a chat to you.
Oh, you're not going to fly me over? No?
Well,
We need some sponsors.
We'll talk to Junior Pierce and
Yeah,
pull
we'll
a few
talk to
strings.
Junior.
And,
We need something.
Junior Pierce.
And I'll tell you, if the girls aren't playing next year and you do come over, well, you're just going to be harassing them, aren't you, over there to say, well, we're ready to go.
Oh, for sure.
Like, let's get it going.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm
what it was.
here to have a bit of a squiz and a talk to you, Pete.
Yeah.
And,
because
and
we
Mr.
had-
Abdo, Andrew. Like, we're
Peter
ready.
Warren Beatty on, and he was really for the women, wasn't
Peter Beatty. Peter Beatty. He said, are you related to your Warren Beatty? I go, no, Warren Beatty was an American.
I
He was a
thought-
movie star, wasn't
What about when Peter Beatty said this to Ray? Because he grew up in Atherton, up in the Atherton Tablelands, sort of behind Cairns.
he? 3 syllables would have been tough.
Yeah, well, but he said, Ray said, what sports do you play? He said, I played some rugby league and that and hockey. And Ray went, I didn't know they had ice hockey in Atherton. And that joke went for the next hour, didn't it? Ice hockey in just inland from Cairns.
That was unbelievable.
Big chance.
He got the joke, but Peter, he did.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
And for an ex-premier and all that, he got
was
the
very
He
good.
was good. He was
got
really
all the
good.
jokes except for the edible jokes.
but as big fans of the NRLW, he would be pushing that barrow, and if we can, if it gets to
We love
Vegas,
it.
and
We love it.
Well, it's a market, isn't it?
Oh, huge market.
Huge.
To grow the sport, every single men's game, there are women there wanting to play the game.
Yeah.
There's more people watching the women watching the men's game too. Also,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
so
Like
it's a market.
What'd you say then?
No, I don't know what I
I actually understood because he waved his hands around.
Because I'm really good with sign language.
Yeah.
Because I can't speak, I've got to use my
It's the
hands.
Italian background.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Grazie, grazie. How do you feel when people call you a trailblazer, pioneer, torchbearer, one of the originals? I can't call you foremother of women's rugby league. I mean, how does that make you feel?
Oh, really proud.
Yeah.
The recognition, the respect that these players give. They're very well educated and they're constantly told that there were, people before you that, made these inroads so that the game can be where it is today.
Sure.
And they're very, very respectful and, I'm just great to be a part of it, really. Hand up.
Talking about women who started rugby league, do you know that, have you heard of a Maggie Malone?
Certainly have.
Incredible. I was just doing some research on her. 1921 started the women, but please take over because I can't say more than 4 words.
Well, if you keep them monosyllabic, I think you're okay.
Oh, yeah, great. What's that mean?
One syllable.
Thank you.
Maggie Malone, there's talk of the Dally M's being changed for the females.
Wow.
Because we want to recognise the female history as well.
Yep.
And, how far back do you go? Well, you go to one of the very first games, which was over 100 years ago. Maggie Maloney, I think she scored a triple,
That's
3
right.
meat pies.
Yes.
And so, they're asking a lot of the older players and a lot of the players at the moment, we've got to fill in this, like, 1, do we want it changed? And 2, maybe, and I'm right behind Maggie Maloney. It's got a nice,
Maggie Maloney medal.
the Maggie M.
The story
Maggie
is
M.
There's the Dally M, there's the
extraordinary.
Maggie M.
Oh, what?
That's
Oh, how good is it?
Perfect.
Yeah, there we go. It's
The
all going to
Maggie
happen
M and the
here
Dally
on the
M.
How's That podcast.
Yeah.
That's
You
it.
heard it first.
See how I
The
stopped
Maggie
it?
M.
Podcast.
That's mono.
I can't. I'm struggling. It's too
You're
early in
good,
the
mate.
morning for me.
Thanks, Tarsha. You're a legend of the game.
Thanks,
and,
Tarsha.
for taking the time out to come and talk to us today. And I reckon we'll see you in Las Vegas.
Vegas.
As I'm making the big call.
Over in Vegas. And what happens there, boys? Stays
Stays
there.
in
Absolutely.
Vegas. Good
Yeah.
on you, Tash.
Yeah.
Love you, mate. Thanks very much.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Cheers.
Yeah.
Over and out. Until next time. Ciao.
Bye.